Hey, I'm Matt Norris. So, this is something I thought about a few years ago when I was at work. I was thinking about the scene in Jurassic Park where the park's game warden, Robert Muldoon, dies. In particular, I was thinking about that closing image of the scene where, as Muldoon is killed, we see a shot of a snake going past a velociraptor's face, as Muldoon's screams can be heard in the background. I was thinking, why did they not end that scene with the cliche closing shot, a high-angle pull-away of the forest with a flock of birds rising up from the trees as Muldoon's screams echo outwards? I considered several of the Muldoon scenes from my memory to try and work out why the decision was made to finish the Muldoon death scene with the velociraptor with snake image. I was familiar enough with the film to be able to recall these scenes from memory, and I considered the following four scenes, and as an exercise tried to see if there was some logic or meaning behind why that closing shot with the velociraptor and snake was chosen to end the scene with. So the movie opens with the velociraptor being transferred into the velociraptor pen, and Muldoon is overseeing this process. During the transfer, a particularly feisty raptor manages to attack and kill one of the workmen. The surrounding men are armed with both guns and tasers. Muldoon gives the order to kill the raptor. Shoot her. There is a moment where, through a gap in the crate, she and Muldoon make eye contact. Later, Muldoon is describing the velociraptor's abilities to Alan Grant, who is eagerly asking him a variety of questions about the raptors. They and the other main characters are gathered by the raptor pen, and Muldoon states, in relation to one of Grant's questions about the velociraptor's intelligence, they're extremely intelligent, even problem-solving intelligent, especially the big one. We bred 8 originally, but when she came in, she took over the pride and killed all but 2 of the others. That one, when she looks at you, you can see she's working things out. This is accompanied by Muldoon resting one of his legs up on a railing. His knee is raised up. It's as though he is so impressed with the idea that this big velociraptor is such a worthy prey item. Muldoon is the park's game warden. He is a hunter previously. He appears greatly pleased that his foe is worthy. It makes him a worthy hunter. I considered how perhaps this allows for a greater connection to some hunter spirit for him. When she looks at you, you can see she's working things out. So at this point in the film, all hell has broken loose. Muldoon is escorting Ellie to the bunker so that she can assist with reactivating power to the park's fences. The bunker is close, and Ellie wants to make towards it. Muldoon warns caution, however, and tells her that they are not safe, that they are being hunted. He tells Ellie to make a run for it to the bunker while he moves into the forest to hunt the velociraptors. Here we find Muldoon deep in the surrounding jungle. He is carefully preparing a shot. He is preparing to fire on a rather conspicuous raptor, moving about in some bushes before him. Muldoon takes off his hat and prepares his rifle. As he takes aim, we get a close-up shot of Muldoon's face and rifle from his right side. He is moments away from taking the shot. Then, from his left side, from out of some bushes, emerges a velociraptor, pausing only inches from Muldoon's face, snarling and about to attack. Except, she doesn't just leap out from her hiding place and mindlessly kill him. She pauses inches from his face, close enough to where once she makes her final attack, Muldoon won't be able to react fast enough to escape, and from there she watches him. As he kneels there aiming his rifle forward, but with the raptor's snarling mouth so close to him, his fate sealed, what is interesting is that she seems to be watching him realise this. As I remembered this scene, I thought, why the pause? What is the raptor doing? Now at this point I'm going to treat this velociraptor as the lead velociraptor whose intelligence Muldoon was so impressed by. And here, as she watches him realise that his fate is sealed, suppose that she is actually demonstrating to Muldoon a greatly profound truth, one that he had thus far overlooked, the truth that his initial regard for her intelligence expressed with the sentiment, when she looks at you, you can tell she's working things out, was in fact an inaccuracy and foolishly insufficient. Suppose what she was demonstrating to him by watching him realise how screwed he was that when she looks at you, she can tell you're working things out. His evaluation of her was insufficient, and she knew it all along, and had now exploited his insufficient appraisal and outwitted him. She watches him work this out and realizes that he has lost and is now about to die. The park bred 8 raptors originally, but these were of a regular sort. When she came in, she took over the pride and killed all but 2 of the others. She, the big one, was of a different sort, an alpha. From those original 8 random raptors, she made an actual hunting party of raptors. 1 raptor to act as a lure, 1 to ambush from the side, and 1 to watch on and coordinate. And Muldoon was the prey. And Muldoon's response to this in that moment before his death? Clever girl. Although Muldoon is no doubt terrified during this moment, and the lead raptor is no doubt very pleased with herself, I believe that he, at least subconsciously, recognized the meaning for why the velociraptor paused, and that this new insight into the raptor's cognitive abilities actually takes Muldoon to a higher level of connection to that hunter spirit, and that this is a kind of perfect hunter moment or death for him. And so I thought that it is this fact that is his motivation for responding to this revelation with the remark, "clever girl," in the instant before she kills him. This clever girl remark is a kind of statement of gratitude from him. Perhaps they actually have a moment together, and the fact of his death perhaps adds proof to this hunter spirit experience in that it is absolute. So what about that closing shot? After Muldoon is attacked, after that brief pause and clever girl remark, that closing shot of the raptor watching Muldoon be attacked while a snake slithers by on a nearby branch. To me, this shot is of a raptor witnessing and possibly contemplating the exploitation of Muldoon's nakedness. The snake seems to particularly allude to ideas of nakedness and vulnerability and the potential of exploitation. Think about the imagery of the snake and the clothing in the Garden of Eden. Overall, I guess you can play around with which velociraptor in this scene is which, but I also see this as an image of the brooding done by the head raptor even before Muldoon's actual death, and as an image of the contemplation that would be done after the deed is done, like a symbolic image that transcends the scene and speaks to malevolent motivations or thoughts or intelligence or the exploitation of vulnerability of nakedness, things that might more often be capabilities of human beings. She went beyond normal animal thinking into some deep, dark, complex mindset. This velociraptor proved to be more than what Muldoon could originally imagine an animal to be capable of being, and that's saying something considering how much he already loved talking about them, with his knee way up in the air. I believe that Muldoon's eagerness to associate with the hunter spirit and this new revelation together are what are bearing out from him when he makes his final utterance, "clever girl." He has a special, sublime encounter with the hunter spirit, made possible by this experience with some ultimate prey, the sort of encounter one can experience in a world where one actively seeks engagement with such a spirit. Another instance in Jurassic Park of a character having a moment, say, with some transcendent spirit, occurs of course with Dr. Ian Malcolm. Although his body is broken by the Tyrannosaurus Rex, he nevertheless strikes this marvellous pose. His battered body becomes a testament to his ideas about chaos and the eventual fall of the park coming true. There's a martyrdom aspect or something similar at play here, that people would put their union with some spirit over the concerns of their body. And that was an example of a time where I investigated the imagery of a scene in a film and found some interesting line of meaning running through it. I guess the image of the velociraptor and the snake kind of drew my attention in, and it was actually good to find something interesting there waiting to be realised. Anyway, let me know what you think about this scene in the comments. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.